The film begins with a group of thieves preparing for a midnight heist, carrying the body of their victim. They arrive at a store, which happens to be owned by one of their members' fathers, Rico. They've been searching for a key for a long time and decide to break into the store by force. However, among them is a maniac-looking young woman named Nikita, who seems uninterested in the burglary. When the store owner, who also resides there, notices the break-in, he tries to defend the place, and outside, the police arrive. This sparks a shootout, with lives lost on both sides as the resistance and attacks continue. Eventually, only Nikita remains, but her indifference leads her to take a police officer hostage. Unfazed by the threat, the officer's life is also lost. Consequently, Nikita is thrown into prison, still unaware of the gravity of her actions. During interrogation, Nikita remains silent until she is slapped. Refusing to accept it, she immediately fights back. After going through the interrogation phase, Nikita eventually proceeds to trial. She enters the courtroom under tight security. Still unaware of the gravity of her actions, Nikita is sentenced to life imprisonment. Fueled by disappointment and hysteria, she is taken to a biological research room. Without much ado, scientists prepare several syringes. It turns out they intend to make Nikita forget her past. Shortly after, a man named Bob arrives, stating that he will always be close to Nikita. Not out of affection, but Bob explains that Nikita's sentence can be exchanged for one thing: she must serve the country. The next day, Bob assumes Nikita agrees because she is only sleeping in her room, but Bob's assumption couldn't be more wrong. Nikita cleverly attacks Bob, catching him off guard as he enters her cell. After successfully taking Bob hostage, Nikita demands that he release her. Meanwhile, the staff can do nothing but watch. However, in a surprising turn, Bob manages to handle the situation calmly and promptly disables Nikita by shooting her in the leg. On the second day, Bob returns to meet Nikita. Without reason, he senses that Nikita is starting to become interested in his offer from yesterday. As a result, Nikita is taken to attend several classes. These include shooting classes, brain sharpening classes, and self-defense classes. Later, Nikita goes to a different room to attend another class. In this class, her appearance will be transformed. After finishing, Nikita, who is eating, is approached by Bob again. But after a long chat, Bob doesn't realize that Nikita is actually very mischievous. However, that's what makes Nikita special. Bob likes it and believes that Nikita can develop. Although she faces difficult challenges because the mission head always underestimates her. As Nikita has a mental disorder, the mission head doesn't believe there will be any progress from her training. However, Bob remains steadfast in his belief, yet in reality the tremendous pressure continues to bear down on him. When the makeup class arrived, Nikita began to be taught how to beautify herself. It didn't take long for Nikita to get used to it. Thanks to the makeup class, Nikita's appearance changed dramatically and became very elegant. Here, Nikita was also invited by Bob to have dinner together. However, this wasn't just an ordinary dinner. Nikita was given a gift that turned out to contain a pistol and its magazine. She was told to kill 3 targets and then escape through the toilet window. After Bob left her, Nikita candidly killed all 3 of her targets and fled the scene while being chased by guards. However, the toilet window that Bob told her about turned out to be blocked by a brick wall. Confused about where to go, in the end, Nikita daringly entered the kitchen. Bullets rained down on the kitchen, but amazingly, Nikita wasn't hit by a single bullet. Instead, she easily handled the situation there, and she immediately fled through the kitchen drainage hole. With her body reeking of garbage, in the midst of the rain-soaked streets, Nikita immediately left the scene. There was only one goal on Nikita's mind this time: to find Bob. There, Bob was casually reading a newspaper. It turned out he deliberately covered the escape route with bricks to test Nikita. As a matter of fact, Nikita passed the mission. But even so, the assignment head still underestimated Nikita, despite Bob giving her an S-level or higher intermediate task. Consequently, he'd assigned her the highest task with an S+ category. Nikita was instructed to blend into the city and given a fake identity as Josephine. Armed with limited money, Nikita rented a modest place to stay. Then she went to buy groceries at the supermarket. But Nikita didn't know what to buy and could only follow what others were taking. When she was about to pay, Nikita was captivated by the cashier named Marco, so much so that just hours after they met, they immediately slept together. By morning, Nikita's life seemed normal. Luckily, Marco cared deeply for Nikita. He didn't treat her like most men would. And without knowing Nikita's background, Marco had no idea that she was on a state mission. Shortly after, Nikita received a call from someone asking her to come to the bar of a hotel, and without hesitation, Nikita headed there immediately. In the lobby, Nikita was asked to go to the basement. As soon as she arrived, she saw that the hotel staff had been hidden there. Nikita was given a hotel-maid uniform. It turned out she was to be used as a disguise. Strangely, once she was ready, there were no further instructions. One man was busy with communication equipment, while the others just waited. Suddenly, there was a call from a room ordering drinks. Quickly, the drinks were prepared, but in addition, one person there also planted a bug on the drink glass. After the drinks were ready to be delivered, Nikita immediately carried out her task. She went to one of the rooms with two guards standing in front of the door, who were always on high alert. However, they were unaware of any danger. They even tipped Nikita, and after she returned to the basement, the mission was unexpectedly completed. Feeling happy for the first time, Nikita invited Bob to have dinner at her house that evening. Bob's arrival was welcomed by Marco. At the dinner table, Bob suddenly gave them 2 tickets for a vacation to Venice. Grateful for this kindness, Nikita felt relieved because finally she could escape from the state mission. Like a honeymoon, Nikita and Marco were very grateful for this journey. However, when Nikita was about to order food from the hotel room, the phone turned out to be connected to Bob. And Bob informed her that there was a wardrobe in Nikita's bathroom that contained a secret compartment. True enough, when Nikita checked it, she found several scattered components. Careful not to wake Marco up, Nikita was actually assigned an assassination mission. Thinking this was just a vacation, it turned out to be a brutal moment unknown to Marco. Through the radio, Bob whispered that there was a target that needed to be shot. However, Marco was quite annoying, wondering why Nikita was taking so long in the bathroom. But Nikita managed to focus on Bob's directions. A woman was successfully shot. After the mission, Nikita pretended to be quick in front of Marco, and because she was so swift, Marco didn't realize that a weapon had been hidden there. Then, Nikita went to the cafe across from her hotel. While reading the newspaper, Bob had to endure Nikita's repeated anger. That night, Bob once again moved to approach Nikita. Upon arrival, Nikita was instructed to kill an art enthusiast who had illegally purchased important documents belonging to the country. However, because the person had power and wealth, Nikita had to descend while disguised as an art expert. Suddenly, Marco revealed that he actually knew who Nikita was. It turned out that when Nikita left, Marco saw the documents given by Bob. However, Nikita promised that tonight's mission would be the last. Without hesitation, the main target was made to come to Nikita's place to buy a painting. He was deceived by this disguise, with Marco also assisting. Despite 2 bodyguards waiting outside, Nikita still managed to capture the man. And with a special drink, the man was made to faint in a matter of seconds. Afterwards, Marco was tasked with impersonating the target, while Nikita would go to the man's residence. This mission went very smoothly, to the extent that the 2 bodyguards were unaware. But suddenly, there was a call from Bob. Bob said there would be a cleaner coming. It turned out that the cleaner referred to was an executioner. At the same time, in a matter of seconds, the 2 bodyguards were immediately incapacitated by the executioner, who then took them both to the bathroom. And not without reason, this executioner was actually going to eliminate them with acid. When night fell, Nikita immediately went into action alone. She disguised herself as the target, whose goal was a safe. Despite being monitored by surveillance cameras, Nikita's movements were extremely meticulous. Eventually, she succeeded in securing the state documents to be taken away. Upon returning from there, Nikita couldn't bear to see Marco, who was already asleep, and what she had been thinking would soon be revealed after Bob met with Marco. Bob came looking for Nikita and the state documents he desired, and silently, Marco handed over the documents. And at that moment, Bob understood that Nikita had fled, leaving them both behind. Because she wanted freedom after all her missions were completed, and the movie ends. The story is so captivating, where a mentally challenged person who previously seemed to be like a pet of gangsters can become a very skilled hitman if cared for and trained by the right person. What do you think? Please write your opinion in the comments section below. One like and maybe subscribe would mean a lot to support us. I think that's it for now, and see you in the next video.